All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah Gadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and the sincere Shalom to the brothers out here pushing the truth and sincerity. And I pretty much want to get into the topic going into how we got to keep being on, how should I put it? Pretty much keeping up with each other, not just in the way of doing the truth, but I mean, like, responsibility wise, like, uplifting brothers, like, how should I say, being there for one another. Even though we know we got niggas inside camps and all that stuff, but as brothers, we're supposed to really actually be there for each other. And to do so, we gotta be aware of what we're doing, and not exactly just as an everyday thing, but as even in the truth. Like if a brother's going off, we gotta be there to uplift them. Like it's one thing to rebuke a brother, but it's another thing to also uplift them, to pretty much encourage him to keep doing the right thing. Because we all fall short. That doesn't mean we gotta keep bashing each other down. Because it's bad enough we got our people doing that, and we got Esau doing that as it is. So I'm gonna jump right into the first scripture, which is 1 Peter 5:8. It says, "Be sober and be vigilant." So to be sober and vigilant, it means we're pretty much, we're not P's and Q's. We're pretty much wide awake. We're not swaying off the road, so to speak. And it says, "Because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." And see, that's one thing we don't want to happen. We don't want Esau to devour us. We don't want to be like the rest of the world, being consumed by Esau, because we were part of that world with Esau, but we don't want to actually go back to it. Like Esau already devoured our people. Like you see how our people pretty much act, how they are on a constant level, and that's the one thing that we gotta be vigilant of, because it's basically Esau and our people attacking us. Basically, it's us against them. How it's even us against other Israelite camps that's being basically consumed by Esau. I mean, I'm talking about the ones that's all about the fame, about the women. That's being caught up in Esau's world, because you're bringing the stuff of the world that you did into the truth, which you're really corrupting the truth, which is why you're not actually being a part of it. That's why you end up making your own doctrine. So those are the things we basically have everybody against us, basically. And the last thing we need is to be against each other. Like we know that this truth gets hard, and it just gets harder from there. But it's not hard to the point the Lord's just going to make it to where you just want to give up, unless you just wasn't in the spirit to keep pushing. That's the only thing. So let's see. I'm gonna get this other scripture right here, which is Ephesians 6:18. It says, "Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit," meaning we always gotta keep praying. Like even if you feel short, you gotta start praying. Or a brother will tell you to start praying, because the brother can see that you may be slacking. So those are wonderful things inside this truth, that it keeps you going, so long as you're willing to put in the effort to keep going. So it says, "And watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplications for all the saints." So let's go into that word perseverance. It says continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties. See, that's even going into the word endurance, to keep pushing, even if even if you feel feeling short or feeling kind of weak, you got to keep going. So let's reread that again. It says continued effort to do. Mind you, just said this. That's the word perseverance that we read in the scripture. It says or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition, the action or condition or an instance of persevering. So it's even tell you, like, even if you fail in something, or even despite the odds, you just keep going. That's why they even come out with movies saying that to keep fighting until the end. Just like the movie 300. He kept fighting until the end. He didn't let up. He kept going. And that's how we should be in the spirit as well, is that we gotta keep pushing. No matter how tough it may seem, or no matter the cost. That's just the way it is. So I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get this last scripture. This is Ephesians 6:18. It says, "Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit." There goes that word supplication again. Basically, meaning to apply yourself. Actually, I'm gonna get into that word when I get the chance. And it says in the Spirit and watching thereunto. Oh, so that was the same scripture. What's the other scripture I wanted? What's another? Oh, right. James 5:16. It says, "Confess your faults one to another, and pray one for another, that ye may be healed. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much." So when it says confess your faults one to another, and it says that you may be healed. Now, typically, a normal church would say that. They would be like, "Oh, we should hold hands and pray for one another," knowing full well they ain't doing that. But that's going for us, because we're the ones that's actually taking all the hell. These churches ain't taking no hell. They had one shootout. They may have a fight, something happening here and there, but they ain't doing that. They ain't doing or going through anything like what we're going through. The churches have it easy. It's all let's praise, dance, and song and eat. That's it. While we're out there actually pushing this truth, being chastises against other people or against each other at this point. So we're the ones that's going through the hell, not them. That's why when it says praying always with all prayer, that's other scripture again. It says confess your faults one to another and pray one for another. That's talking about us, because we go off. We don't want to be devoured by Esau and the things he does. We don't want to be taken by this world. We gotta. It's one because it's one thing to get on each other, but we gotta also uplift each other, which is a thing that really helps us, really, believe it or not, because it gives us the strength to keep going. When we confess our faults, it's to pretty much cast off a demon on us, especially if you know it's there. It's one thing for a brother that may not know it and be like, "Oh, I didn't know that, so that's something I need to work on." But for you to come out and say that I've been doing this and this and that, and you're confessing your faults on it, we gotta pray for that brother, because he's trying to actually get himself together, which is what we should all be doing. This truth can take a lot, believe it or not, if you're not balancing right. So this truth is basically our cure, because it's no one else we can come to confess our faults but each other. Why? Because we're the only ones teaching the same doctrine to each other, with each other. Nobody else is teaching this truth with us. You got 2/3 out there that just believe what they wanted to believe, or you got other camps out there that'll just say that's just out there for the money and the women. They ain't teaching what we're teaching. They'll try to copy what we're teaching, but it's not the same thing. So I got that word supplicate, which is what I was going to the other word with supplication. It says to make a humble entry, especially to pray to God. to ask humbly and earnestly, to ask for earnestly and humbly. So it's telling you right there that we're to be humble about this truth. Because going back to the other scripture, it says, "And watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints." So that means to be humble in this truth, to pretty much keep going, to be a man of the Lord, basically. So no matter how you look at it, we gotta help each other instead of this being just a everybody for themselves type of thing in this truth, because that's not gonna help. We're one body, so we gotta act as one body. If an organ is having problems, your organs is not gonna say, "Oh, we're gonna let it be," and just like do what it does. No, your other organs is gonna help function that, so you don't end up sick or dead. So it's the same way it is truth that we don't want our brothers to end up sick or spiritually dead. Like we don't. It's not. We don't glorify in other brothers falling off or guys that fell off. Like if you was a 2/3 being a nigga severely, then hey, the hell with you. But if he saw that you was actually being sincere about this thing and you just fell out, we don't glorify in that, because we push together. We're seeking to get out of this place. Yeah, it says seek your own salvation, but to do that is to be a brother to each other. That's the key thing about this thing. And it's just one thing that a lot of these guys out here don't pay attention to. It's just all about themselves, and that's it. And the truth is about each other. That's why it says a body. A body ain't just everything into separate pieces. It's a whole. It's a body is something that's whole. So that's why I wanted to get into that topic, because we gotta actually really worry about each other at this point while pushing these prophecies, because we're all we got. Because no one else is going to do this with us unless they come into the fold, which is the hopeful elect, number one. So hopefully with that was edifying. So with that, shalom.